Okay.
Thank you.
No, I appreciate it.
Cool. All right, so you up for a little bit of
Yeah.
little bit of a walk route?
If you're like, from what I've heard, and you're you're a deep guy. You're a deep person. You're a deep thinker. Deep like, I can tell. So I can go into every one of these pieces as deep as you want or as surface as you want, but
Yeah.
there are specific ones that have more meaning to me, a little bit more meaning to me. And, I think like some of it ties into my dentistry as well. And so we can kind of go through and you can kind of, ask any questions about some of the art and like how they tie into what I do and kind of why they mean specific, like certain things to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my thought is that we'll need to do a shot of like one of your spaces, right? One of the dental rooms anyway.
Yeah.
So that way people can be like, oh, legit. This is
Yeah.
in this little tiny space. This is, you get the magic of the art going on.
Yeah.
And then maybe if we highlight 3 or 4 different pieces,
Okay.
that there's a story, and then I'll reserve one wild card where I'm like, wait a second, what's the story on this one?
Yeah.
But to me, I'd say let's celebrate where you talked about, right, on some of the, like one example may be, I chose this particular location because we talked about that,
Yeah.
right? I chose this location because of this, and just do a deep dive on it, right?
Okay.
And then whatever others kind of hit as far as the maybe the broader picture, right? So hit some that you've done, one definitely of a local artist or some upcoming artist, up and coming or whatever. I'd say if we just got a sample of some of those different things,
Okay.
that would be cool. But
Yeah.
my intention would not necessarily be to do an entire video because, because that, right, this will drive, and I'll point to folks to the site to say, hey, if you go to your site, then you get the whole thing, right? Because I don't want to try to duplicate everything.
I know what you mean. I am actually am in the process of having somebody kind of video and like, sometimes you go to like a art museum, they have like a virtual or like a video, like a, tour. I want to be able to have that if a patient wants to know more, they can basically like click a link and it'll tell them a deeper dive. So we're going to be like creating that through like a video, kind of like a video tour.
Yeah.
For patients if they're interested, or people, anybody that's interested.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But I mean, I would say there are ones that like kind of encapsulate what we had been talking about with service and that sort of thing. So
yeah, because you know the backstory, what's here and such.
Yeah.
Then I will absolutely follow your lead, and I'm not like, I'm not running out of film, right? It's like, oh no, we have to do this, and and it's 13 seconds, or that's not the world I'm operating in.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of think of like a few things, like 3 pieces, but I can also like, because I don't think you've actually seen the whole office either. You've just kind of been.
Yeah, I only got to, I was in the public space, or, the kind of lobby area anyway, or the gallery area.
So, do you want to just follow
Cool.
me here? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let me do the adjustment here and make this more handheld.
Okay. Let me stick that there. Okay, so
Cool.
let's just kind of start. So with each operatory, we actually have these little signs on them. They're kind of themed. So, there's 6 of them total, and each one has a little theme behind them. Flowers, photography, there's different things. And we may change these out periodically, but all of these are things that I've collected. None of my art, they're just ones that I like. But I wanted to just kind of really touch on, because we talked a little bit about service.
Yeah.
When you come to my office, we have these little like brochures. And this is one of the things that I kind of did, but I realized some people might be confused about it. So we have a quote down here. And I put this quote down here because there's a specific artist who, when they do these large murals, they use these powerful quotes, like from Martin Luther King and different historical figures that give you more meaning behind their artwork. And this, I thought it would be cool to use an artist's quote that gave meaning to me in the practice.
Yeah.
So this specific artist, his name's El Mac, he has a picture which is right here. And this picture is, a lot of people think it's Jesus carrying a cross, but it's actually not. It's a laborer in Mexico carrying, a laborer in Mexico carrying this, doing service. And when I first saw this picture, it was the one that I knew when I built this space, I had to have this to really define what my intentions of the whole space was.
Wow.
And the quote that's on here is, I was raised with the sort of philosophy of work, where art making and creative labor can be a kind of prayer, where there can be beauty in striving to become better at whatever we do, and in the giving of oneself and service to others. Love, beauty, and work can all be connected. And the artist's name is El Mac. But I realized when I put this on here, some people, they didn't know El Mac was, or they're like, are you El Mac? Is that your quote?
The question did flicker through my mind. I'm like, is this like his artist name?
Yeah. So, but this is actually a work by El Mac. It's called El Obrero, and it's a print. And he typically does large murals. There's actually a mural in in the Anacostia.
Okay.
That he collaborated with the local artist from DC. I'm actually interested. He just recently posted it on his account. I want to go check it out. It's down,
Absolutely.
It's down in DC. It's a huge. He does huge murals.
Okay.
Across the country. He's from LA, but he's when I was in school, he's always been a favorite artist of mine. So, that's kind of the meaning behind this one here.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And just, that captures a lot of what you were talking about, of just who you are.
Yeah. So, this is definitely one of my favorites. When you come through the operatories, there's different, like I said, different themes. So the photography one to me is interesting because some people think photography is like not a true form of art, or it's like you're just taking a picture, but I really appreciate photography. I don't do much of it myself, but this room right here actually are places that I've been to.
Oh, okay.
And so these are actually, I would say they're actually friends of mine.
Nice. Okay.
They're not really technically like artists, but they're places that I've been to that kind of, and they all kind of fit with the color theme of this room. And I liked just kind of like how these looked, but the one on the outside is a more well-known artist, and this one too, but all these ones right here are places that I've been to, and so they actually mean a little bit to me. So this one's Iceland, Alaska, Hawaii, and Arizona. So
love them.
Yeah.
I was an Arizona boy. I'm tracking. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, and then we can come up. So you can come up to the front here. I don't know if you saw this when you came in here, but there's this wall when you come in, and when we first decided to do this, I decided to do this. This EP3, that's my art name.
Okay.
When I first did this, people probably don't know about this, but these 3 letters were from the previous practice. It was called Belpre Dental, and I took the signs from the building and I just made it into the EP3.
Nice.
So it's actually the same signs. We put them on the wall here, they kind of light up. But all of these works are things I did growing up. This was probably one of my first drawings that I did when I was in high school. And, you know, as people that come in here, I love local sports and local teams. So this wall has all these black and white pictures of people. And I wanted to do something cool that patients or anybody that comes here could interact with. So there's we had people come in during our opening, or anytime any patient comes in here, they want to leave a note or write something. And I actually want you to do this.
All right.
You can write something, anything you want to write. You kind of leave your mark here, and it's something that I can also look at. You know, sometimes I come here and look at it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize this person, you know, left this message for me or said this. So it's always something that I feel like people like to kind of interact with.
That's
art
cool.
Too, so
yeah.
I'll grab a pen for you here, and I can record you doing
All right.
it. So if that's okay.
Sweet.
Do you,
and just of note here, we got Sean Taylor up here, and I know that his younger brother just made like the practice team or something like that anyway, so we'll see how that goes. But cheering, as a local guy anyway, cheering for what's to come there.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
All right, ready to get a pen.
Do you want to write in black or in white? There's not as much black space here, but you can do either one. Let me grab some of these. Okay. This is a white one.
All right, yeah, I can do some white up there. I can reach up there.
Okay, yeah, it's good if you can reach higher.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Okay, I'm gonna.
All right. Let's see. There we go. Keep pursuing the questions.
All right, nice.
There we go.
Thank you.
And there we go.
Nice.
Sweet. I'll go ahead and grab a shot there.
Yeah. I did these little. Each section has a little thing that. I want the patient to interact with somehow.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of read each one. Some people do it, some people don't. But every one of these has a little bit of kind of like interactive piece with it.
Well, that's cool.
So, if you ever have more time in here, you can kind of look at things.
I'll come back or just spend a little bit more time. Yes.
But yeah, all these works are things that I've done more kind of like in my spare time or when I was in school.
Yeah.
And
is there stick pins? Is that right?
Yeah, they're basically like little fabric pins.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful work, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Let's see. Then we go here. And all right, so these pieces over here.
So these are actually when I was in college. It was my degree project as an art major.
Okay.
And I actually went. These are cities, And I always do this. This is like one of the interactive things I have here. So each one, I went to the city and I took different photos throughout the city. So there's 6 different cities here, and I always have patients or people try to guess. They can guess all the cities.
Okay. All right, so we'll give the first one up here.
Yeah, there's little clues in each one, but
number 1, and we're not giving any answers here.
No,
so this way, you got to figure it out, or go on the website and engage. Right. There we go.
Yeah, it's always interesting the people that have. You know, I went to school on the West Coast, so there's some on the West Coast, some on the East Coast, but people that are from those areas tend to get those ones a lot quicker, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's one in particular that I nailed, I got it. Well, that's cool. And so was in the inspiration for these, was that in the time that you spent, would you just go for, was it like a weekend type thing?
I would just go for like a day or 2. Yeah.
Okay.
And just I compiled a bunch of photos.
Yeah.
And I actually had them on the, running through here, but with those photos, I put together kind of like a collage of my visit to the city.
Yeah.
And so with that collage of images, I did like a little sketch, and then with that sketch I translated it into like a bigger piece.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, sports is a huge part of my
Indeed.
Yeah, and so I with a lot of my art, there's sports involved, and we're actually going to be doing a show probably at the end of the year, like a closing show. That I have and we'll see, time permitting. I have 3 pieces that I'm trying to work on, and we're going to kind of unveil them during that. So the big one I'm doing is he's the new local star here is the Jaden Daniels one. So
okay,
I'm working on that, and we'll see how that comes along here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So then, to your point, so amongst doing all of this other, between the practice, between the gallery, you're also still creating.
Yeah. When I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to slip that in.
Yeah.
Wow. And in doing your creating, in making your art, what does that do for you?
Oh, I mean, it's such a satisfying feeling to finish a piece. I mean, I would say it's similar as I do dental work too, like seeing the full smile of a patient when I'm finally done with it. It's like, that's like a joy that I can't describe. Like finishing something or like completing a piece.
Yeah.
Especially when I can envision how the finals is gonna look, because there are times in the beginning that I started and I'm like, oh, it's coming out a little different. But when I see that end result and I know, then you can't get me to stop working on it. I see the end result and I'm like super focused. I'm like gonna finish it, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you've also got some other artists in here, or emerging artists, or the folks. What would be an example to highlight for that?
Yeah. So there's most of these are from either galleries I've been to, or I would say more maybe well-known artists. But this artist and some of these artists I haven't really met a lot of artists, but this specific artist, these are one of the earlier ones I did. This whole wall, I wanted to do a theme of line art, but he's actually from DC, but he I think lives in Houston now.
Okay.
But he is a very he has a deep meaning with a lot of his pieces, and these are prints, but He does a lot of line art, and there's 3 of them in here that kind of tie in together. But I'm interested to know more about like kind of his story and background and things, and I've reached out to a few local artists, and it's interesting, like some patients I didn't realize they did art, and they left their information for me, and so I'm so interested in like seeing who I have a few people in mind for the first show here, and they're like local, so everybody has a story behind their artwork, and it's always interesting to me to learn that and learn more about the artists and like why they create stuff and that sort of thing. So, but these 3 in particular are from like a local artist that I think he's in the Houston area, but he's originally from DC.
So for the 3 that you've got up here, what element is it that resonates with you?
So I liked kind of like the black and white aspect of these 3. Mm-hmm. He had different ones as well. It's interesting. I didn't realize this. I've been learning a lot about art as I've been doing this process, and I've been like seeing different galleries. But a lot of artists, when let's say they make a piece for somebody, or they make a piece, they'll write something on the back of the piece. Like either a meaning or something, and I have to remember, but on his website he has like these quotes or different things that kind of mean different things about his pieces, and they're on the back of his artwork. Yeah, and they're just little phrases or little sayings that have like a deeper meaning that it definitely brings more like I think value to like what you see. And there's this artist too. He wrote something about giraffes. That about the here. Let me actually pull this up here so you can see what's behind it. You can see what he wrote here.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
So it reads, in some African stories and myths, the giraffe is seen as an otherworldly creature. In these stories, it is often seen as a messenger between the divine realms and earth. Enjoy your painting. You are loved.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I'll put this up a little bit later here, but I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I could go through all of these pictures, but
gotcha. All right. Well, let me do a walkabout in here, and then.
Yeah, this is the portrait room, and my actually favorite classic painter is Salvador Dali. So on the outside of this wall, it's a picture of Dali, but it's painted by somebody else, another artist. But he's probably like my favorite, like I'd say like a huge artist that everybody knows about, like Dali.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being a part of the Curated Questions family, my friend. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Thank you.